It's the massively popular military sci-fi shooter centered on mankind's desperate fight with subterranean creatures. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be taking a look back at the story of the Gears of War franchise. This series was developed by Epic Games and published by Microsoft Studios. It made its debut in 2006 for the Xbox 360 before being ported to the PC. The game was instantly celebrated with critics and gamers alike, applauding the game's focus on cooperative play, tight over-the-shoulder third-person gameplay, top-rated production values, mature content, fleshed-out characters, and an incredibly rich storyline. The trilogy took place on Earth's-like planet called Sera. In the tale's backstory, the world emerges from a 79-year conflict over a new radioactive energy source called Emulsion. The end of that war resulted in the establishment of the Coalition of Ordered Governments, or COG. Unfortunately, the peace didn't last long. A race of deadly creatures emerged from beneath the surface and began wiping out the planet's population in an event known as Emergence Day. Following that incident, the COG began using space-based weapons to blast areas of the planet from orbit. The first game kicked off with the introduction of the series' protagonist, Marcus Phoenix. Phoenix was a COG soldier who was put in a cell for abandoning his post while trying to save his father. He was rescued from an abandoned prison by his friend Dominic Santiago and was soon promoted to the leader of Delta Squad due to a shortage of troops.
And you're in charge, Sergeant Phoenix, as of now.
Sergeant?
Santiago and Phoenix were then joined by Cole, who was a former athlete, and Baird, who was the team's mechanic. The team was equipped with assault rifles topped with chainsaw bayonets that they called Lancers. Together, the group was sent on a mission to annihilate the Locusts by gathering recon on their tunnel system in order to deploy the light mass bomb. However, in Gears of War 2, the team was informed that this strike didn't do much to stop the Locusts due to poor intel. As a result, the remaining human survivors were forced to gather at Jacinto. There, they formed a base of operations on a mass of hard rock that the Locust Horde could not penetrate. This was in response to the Horde's use of a giant worm to sink the human cities.
It's a giant worm! They're sinking cities with a giant worm!
The team then took the battle back to the Locust. After venturing underground, they discovered that the Locusts were taking human prisoners. The squad located Dom's wife, but he was forced to euthanize her. After finding and killing the worm, they discovered intel that led to a Locust city called Nexus. The squad traveled there to slay the Locust Queen, and learned that these creatures were caught up in their own civil war with those infected by Emulsion.
That's the Locust Queen? I thought she was supposed to be put up.
Because of this, the Queen ordered the sinking of Jacinto in an effort to flood the underground and drown the infected. After learning this, Delta Squad decided to sink the city themselves before the Queen was able to evacuate. This move killed both the infected and non-infected Horde forces. However, humanity was left without a stronghold and people scattered. The third game picked up 18 months after the fall of Jacinto. The Gears moved their operations to an island base and an aircraft carrier called the Raven's Nest. The COG had disbanded, the Queen had somehow survived, and the infected Locusts were evolving into a deadlier threat. This forced humanity to take on one final fight for survival. Known for its gripping plot and high-octane action, Gears of War was easily one of Xbox 360's most cherished series and one of gaming's most memorable franchises.
But so often, the legacies that we leave behind are not the ones that we intend.